viewers, let's tell you a little bit about what's happening as far as MOU or peace agreement between US and Iran is concerned. Viewers, the peace agreement between US and Iran is literally hanging by a thread. US Vice President Vance described the first round of talks in Switzerland as having laid a very good foundation. But when he was asked if nuclear inspectors would be returning to Iran, he claimed that Tehran has agreed to allow inspectors from the International Atomic Energy Agency or IAEA back into the country, and it is a big deal, he claimed. But this claim of Vance was quickly denied by Iranians. As per Iranian state news agency IRNA, Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson Ismail Bakai said Tehran had not made any new commitments on nuclear inspectors. In fact, he maintained that any engagement with UN inspectors would take place under existing procedures set by Parliament and the Supreme National Security Council. Let's now, viewers, take you through, in fact, what we have learned so far in this particular case, the two different claims that have emerged, one from the American side and the other one from Iranian side. And these are two different claims that we're talking about. So according to US Vice President Vance, Iran agreed to admit nuclear monitors. Iranians, however, are saying Iran did not even negotiate the nuclear issue during talks that took place in Switzerland. According to Vance, Iran has agreed to invite IAEA inspectors. According to Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson, engagements will happen with existing procedures only, based on existing procedures only. US Vice President then further went on to claim that letting in the inspectors is actually a big deal, and I'll explain to you this part specifically in just a bit, why it is important. On the other hand, Iranians are saying no new commitments have been made on bringing in nuclear inspectors on Iranian soil. So this is how we have got claims from one side and then counterclaims coming in from the other side. Now, viewers, what is also important to understand is that Iran's parliament last year passed a law curtailing cooperation with the IAEA and suspending even routine inspections following US strikes on the Iranian nuclear facility at Isfahan, Fordo and Natanz. Let's tell you about the history of inspections by IAEA, and this is why what has happened in Switzerland and after the talks is important. So in 2015, Iran signed a deal with 6 different countries. These included US, China, France, Russia, Germany and the UK. Then this in 2015, this deal was signed to actually allow IAEA inspectors on Iranian soil. In 2018, Donald Trump, as the President of the United States of America during his first term, withdrew America from this particular deal. Then in June 2025, Iran restricted IAEA's access to its sites that were hit by American strikes. And access was denied during this 12-day war that we saw in June last year. Now, IAEA pulled out remaining inspectors as well for the following month from Iran. And that is the reason why, if Iran agrees to bring these inspectors back into Iran, meanwhile, viewers, the US President Donald Trump, in a post on Truth Social, has claimed that everybody is fully aware that Iran will agree to have major weapons inspectors in order to ensure nuclear honesty long into the future. Not just that, he also issued a warning to Iran saying that if Iran does not stick to the agreement, then he will do what he has to do. Listen in.
What I didn't say it would cause a depression. I said it could cause a depression, right? And I said that I don't want to be Herbert Hoover. That's a president I don't want to be, because he was in charge during the Great Depression, and certainly a lot of bad things could happen. That would be one of the things. I don't think it would, but if it did. But no, if Iran doesn't live up to their agreement, or if they're not behaving, I will do what I have to do.
So you heard, viewers, another warning there coming in from US President Donald Trump. If Iran doesn't behave, then he'll do what he has to do. Iran's chief negotiator, meanwhile, and parliamentary speaker Mohammad Ghalibaf has said that the Strait of Hormuz can never return to the pre-war era, adding that Iran never trusted Americans and never will. So this is another important statement that has in fact come in at this point in time. Strait won't in fact return to the pre-war conditions. This is what the chief negotiator has said. Strait of Hormuz will be administered by Iran. This is their clear point that they've made. It will be managed under Iranian arrangements only. And Ghalibaf has also said that Iran has never trusted Americans and will never trust Americans in the future as well. Iran, however, has agreed to set up a telephone hotline so that there is no miscommunication or misunderstanding on both sides. This hotline has been set up to prevent misunderstandings with America because Iran has made one thing absolutely clear: it does not trust Americans, even as negotiations are continuing between Iran and the United States of America. And we have some big breaking update coming in, viewers, at this point in time. Amid the de-escalation of tensions in West Asia, Ministry of External Affairs has given an update on the ship movement and Indian vessels specifically in the Strait of Hormuz. MEA has informed that the NSAs of Iran and India had a detailed discussion as well. So this is the latest update that we are getting at this point in time, an update they're coming in by MEA. There were talks that took place between Indian and Iranian NSAs. We have details on Indian vessels that crossed the strait. According to Ministry of External Affairs, 2 Indian ships entered Persian Gulf. 11 India-bound vessels have crossed the strait as well. There are 10 Indian ships that are in the region right now. Mayank, my colleague, is now joining us on the broadcast for more on this. Mayank, can you tell us a little bit about the number of ships that have crossed the Strait of Hormuz after the peace MOU was inked, and how many are still there, and what's the plan going forward?
It's an important thing actually in lots of ways. It will provide a reprieve in so many ways, which is in terms of fuels and gas, energy, fuel, fertilizers also, and larger agricultural products. So as far as the ships which are vessels which are there, I mean, there are almost, as told by the MEA, there are 11 Indian ships there, 10 Indian ships there, and of which 3 are Indian flagged and 6 are carrying fertilizers. And we had got to know that day before yesterday had all 3 ships which are carrying fertilizers, which is going to deal with the requirements of the farmers. They had crossed, and in that, Indian Navy takes up the charge post the ships they cross Gulf of Oman. So what we are seeing actually, it is going to be very positive and larger in terms of other the gas tankers and fuel tankers, which is petroleum products, crude oil tankers. They are also moving out of that area. And going by the briefing, 11 Indian-bound vessels have already crossed that area. And 10 Indian ships are there in that area, and they'll be crossing through the strait. And of them, 3 are Indian flag ships. And as I've already informed, that 6 are carrying fertilizers from that side. So it is going to chip in a larger manner, and we can hope that in the coming days, the movement will be further smooth, because as you have already told, that there will be a coordination committee to talk about the ambiguities or to resolve and to carry out smooth movement of vessels, which can be civil vessels and which can be merchant vessels too.
Right. Mayank, thank you very much for the moment, for joining us with your inputs on the story. So an important update there coming in. 2 Indian ships have entered Persian Gulf, 3 India-flagged ships, and 8 others are coming towards India. There are 10 Indian ships that are still there in the region. We will slip into a very, very short break right now. Coming back with lots more. Stay with us.